How would you define toxic masculinity as a term in your own words?
Toxic masculinity.
Hey guys, welcome. So today's commentary is about toxic masculinity through the eyes of college students. But before I continue, please don't forget to hit the bell, like, subscribe, and comment. Alright, without further ado, let's get cooking.
I'm Emma Michelle with Campus Reform. This week, Gillette released an ad taking on the subject of toxic masculinity. What exactly does that mean? Well, we are here at Georgetown University today asking students what they think about the issue. Do you think that toxic masculinity is a problem that we need to address in society?
In society, I'd say it definitely is something we should address.
It's definitely an issue that most of us face in some way or another.
I'm actually a women and gender studies minor, so we talk a lot about toxic masculinity in some of my classes.
I definitely think it is an issue at large.
I've absolutely heard of toxic masculinity, and I do think it's an issue.
And I think it's a huge issue that should be addressed.
It's a real problem, especially for high school girls, as they start to try and break into the workforce, and there's people just kind of breaking them down, saying that it's not good enough because it's usually males.
Focusing on it would be worthwhile here for sure.
I think we need more ads like this because it brings attention to this very serious topic.
People have become more sensitive to it nowadays.
As you can see, the diverse opinions from both males and females and by the ethnicity, that's a good start, a good thing by Campus Reform. And you can sense a theme and tone that there's some aghast type of reaction to what toxic masculinity is. But the catch is this: can they define it? Let's see.
How would you define toxic masculinity as a term in your own words?
Toxic masculinity, I would define as
There isn't a sort of logic to it. I feel like it's more just strutting your stuff and being manly beyond there being a point to be.
Wow, it's taking this long. Bro, weren't you the one that said this? Rewind.
Do you think that toxic masculinity is a problem that we need to address in society?
In society, I'd say it definitely is something we should address.
I don't really know.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
People have become more sensitive to it nowadays.
This is the issue I have. People don't know what toxic masculinity is. It's based on anecdotal or social programming over the years through media or what people have told them. It's not what they have researched or experienced. It's sort of like someone telling you not to invest in ETF funds but index when they can't tell you the difference. Or it's like a non-black person telling you they have experienced racial discrimination when they have never experienced walking to a store and people literally following you because you're a black. All right? Literally. So people, even at this level, this is a higher education, people are confused.
The idea that men have to be a certain way, dominant, physically imposing and all, and to the extent where
and these constructs are not necessarily conducive to building strong relationships between different members and communities. Toxic masculinity could be really anything, anything that puts men over females.
I guess maybe I would say just guys being expected to behave a certain way. And
Ooh, that's a tough question. I would say maybe the persistent reinforcement that being a man means a certain thing.
I guess just kind of the societal ideas of what it means to be masculine has it's kind of become something so large that it's become very toxic.
The idea that you have to conform to traditional notions of what it means to be a man.
Well, she has some idea because she's some gender studies class, I believe. So she's on par. But here is what the definition is.
The phrase toxic masculinity entered our cultural vernacular a few years ago. Now, this was around the time that the American Psychological Association jumped in to warn that males who socialize to conform to traditional masculinity ideology are often negatively affected in terms of mental and physical health.
If you had to draw the line somewhere between what's toxic masculinity and what's just normal masculinity, how would you do that?
I don't know. I think it's a very gray line. one you would be able to easily distinguish?
Wow, that's a hard question.
If someone is, feels like they can't cry or feels like they can't be open and emotional.
Where do you think the line is drawn between toxic masculinity and just regular male behavior?
That's a tough one.
I'd say when it goes against probably when what people might say about you is the main drive and you acting that sort of way. I feel like that is probably when toxic masculinity comes into play.
Maybe you draw the line at a place where somebody feels that just because of masculine norms they have to act a certain way and they're uncomfortable with that.
Once it becomes psychologically or mentally damaging to the individual, once they feel so under pressure that,
And this is the crux of the matter. Any emotional trait of anger, assertiveness, confrontation, or you might get a bit too physical is seen as masculine toxicity assigned to the male gender. Well, are these the same emotions that females get too? Yes, they can get physical too. They can become toxic too, can become snobbish. So it's not a one-sided thing. I think society just come down on men a bit too hard and needs to be even out and say, hey, both genders express the same type of emotions in different ways, different time. All right. And top of it, these same toxic traits are the same traits that have been exhibited, used to win wars, build bridges, build roads, to be adventurous. It's the same traits you see in these football, basketball games. So I guess people shouldn't be watching these games because that's a lot of toxicity there. Okay, masculine energy. Then if you look at it from attraction, these same traits are what the alpha guys, the bad boys have. That edginess, that adventure, that I don't care, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, that attracts the female. Okay? If a female see that you're a bit soft, you're a bit too square, too good, two shoes, guess what? They're not attractive, right? You're not seen attractive to them. It's strange, but this is ridiculous. Like, yes, men have to taper down and use tact, okay, when to express their emotions and when and how. But at the end of the day, we're all males. We are masculine. This is what we are. Don't try to just mess it up, destroy it totally. Because guess what? We're not trying to destroy the female nature as it is. All right? But that's my 2 cents, guys. What do you think? Please like, comment, and subscribe. Until then, bless.